Greetings to the whole world. Science is Lwandile here, the leader and the instructor of Manikwe School. Today we're going to be doing exercise 3.24. Here's the exercise we want to do today, and we got to write a program that simulates picking a card from a deck of cards, of 52 cards, okay? Your program should display the rank ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, and king, and suits, clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades, okay, of the card, okay? Here's a sample run. The card you picked is jack of hearts, okay? So basically, first of all, before I say a thing about this problem, before we jump onto coding, we gotta know that we gotta put our cards in a certain order. That way we would know whenever a user picks a card what's the corresponding number of that card, and what's the corresponding rank, and what's the corresponding suit of that card. However, what I did is, because of the period it might take for me to give a solution on this exercise, I decided not to write a code and record while I write a code. I decided to write a code up front and then simply go through it with you guys without actually having to type as I'm going through the code. Okay, so this is from student A's perspective. As we all know, it's student A's gives us the lame solutions out of the 3 students. So what student A did is he created a scanner here on line 8. He named his scanner my reader, and then here what he did is he prompts the user to enter a number from 1 to 55, and this is where student A did his validation. Basically, he said if student A's input is greater than or equals to 1 and less than or equals to 15, in fact that's the case we want to deal with. However, he negated that, so basically this is equivalent to saying if student A is less than 1, if user input is less than 1 and the user input is greater than 52. What we do in such a case, we simply inform a user that there was an error, that he has to make sure to enter a number between 1 and 15. Okay, we'll then exit our application in case that happens. Okay, suppose now our application did not exit. Okay, what will happen is we'll simply display the card you picked is, and then from there we'll use the fact that the first 13 cards are all clubs, and then we'll simply say, and we'll simply use if else statements. We'll check if the user input is 1, and if that is the case, we'll simply display ace of club, right? And if the user input is 2, we'll simply display 2 of club, so on and so forth for the first 16 cards. However, for the second 13 set of cards, we'll simply display ace of diamond. We'll simply display diamond for the corresponding number. So 14, okay, or card number 14 up to 26, all those card numbers, they have diamond as their suits. Okay, basically the idea is the same. We use that for the second 13 set of cards, and again for the second last 13 set of cards, what we will do is, in fact, the 27th card will be a heart, a ace of hearts. So the subsequent cards up to the 39th card will all be hearts. I hope everyone is clear there, and if you're not, you just look at the code. Okay, and starting from card number 42, starting from card number 42 up to the very last card, which is card number 52, we all have spades. We only have spades. Okay, so it's gonna be card number 41. It's gonna be ace of spade, and card number 40 is going to be ace of spade, and 41 is going to be 2 of spade, so on and so forth, up until the last case, which will be our 52nd card number. That will be our last card number, and that will correspond to king of spade. I hope everyone is clear with this code, and if you're not, let me know down in the comments. Again, this is not the best way of doing things. In fact, it's the lame way of doing things. Okay, now that we're done with this, we close this solution. We check out what is it that student B did. Okay, student B basically noticed that student A's solution overuses if-else statements. So what he decided to do, he did things a bit different. Instead of creating a scanner first, it decided to just prompt the user to enter a number between 1 and 52. After that, immediately he created a scanner and then declared and initialized a variable to hold user input, and that variable name is and the name of that variable, it's card number, right? So what he then did is to validate card number. He checked if card number is less than 1 or card number is greater than 52. If that is the case, he simply let the user know that the input was invalid. Okay. However, if that is not the case, starting from line 19, if that is not the case, it means that we have a valid card number. Again, we use the fact that the first 13 cards are all clubs, the second 13 set of cards are all diamonds, and the third 13 The third 13 set of cards are all hearts, and the last 13 set of cards are all spades. Okay, we use one and the same facts. Okay. However, this time around we're not using if-else statements. Instead, we're using the switch statement, right? Again, case number 1 corresponds to ace of club. Case number 2 corresponds to 2 of club, so on and so forth, up to case number 13, which corresponds to our last club number on our deck, right? So starting from case number 14 up to case number 26, we have diamonds, right? Take a note of the fact that, like, we placed our cards this way on purpose. We wouldn't have been able to give out a solution if our cards were shuffled. Things would have been hard. I don't know, you can think of that or a solution for that, but I can assure you it will be way too complex. Okay, one and the same thing applies for the case 27 up to 39. We all have hearts, and case 40 up to 52 we all have spades. So the idea is still the same. We're just doing one and the same thing. It's just that we used a different selection methods, right? Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, we'll simply give the solution from students' perspective, a solution which is the best compared to these two, and I will do that on the next tutorial. And if you did, I forgot this, but you can do it yourself. You know, you guys, I'm not into trying different numbers. So for the card you picked is 4 of clubs, so you can play around with this, put different numbers, right? It's totally up to you. I'm afraid I did not check that for my first case, but it works, I can assure you that. Otherwise I wouldn't have recorded it if it did not work. Okay, that should be it for this tutorial, you guys. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, and let me know down in the comments if you sort of against this whole idea of recording first and then of displaying the problem, of displaying a solution without recording it through. If you're against that, please let me know. I just did it. Why? I thought it would be less time consuming because we've got too many lines. We're talking how many? Close to 100 number of lines. And as you guys know, I'm not quite good with speed, so that's why I decided to simply solve the problem first and then explain it in the end. But I can promise you guys, it's not like I'll be doing this for other exercises too. This was just an exception. See you when we actually do this from students' perspective, which will be the best way of doing things. That should be it for this tutorial, you guys. Cheers, I'll see you on the next one. I'm gone.